Hi there, I'm Dave Marks and welcome to Lesson 8 in my series on walking bass lines. We're going to continue on from last week. Let's have a quick recap. Last week we learned the half diminished or minor 7 flat 5 chord. So we had that arpeggio with the root, flat 3rd, flat 5th, flat 7. In last week's homework we took the chords from the song Autumn Leaves and we played each of the arpeggios, not necessarily in time, just trying to actually get the notes right as we move around the whole 32 bar form. This week we're going to start looking at some very basic lines that we could play in time and use whenever we're playing this as a basic swing tune along with a drummer, maybe piano or guitar, and possibly a horn as well. A lot of the time whenever you play through what's called the head or the melody of the tune, you might want to start it off in first gear. You don't want to start raging straight through it, so you can use what's called 2 in a bar feel. And this is where instead of playing 4 notes for each chord, as we were doing last week, you would just play 2 in that time. Now, this may seem simpler, and I suppose it is, but we have less choices because we've only got 2 notes in each bar to play, so they better be 2 very well chosen notes. So, this week we're going to work on playing thirds and playing fifths of each of the chords in our chord progression. To start off with, for exercise 1, you simply play the root note on beat 1 and the third above that on beat 3. And what this is testing really is that you can recognize which of your chords have a major third and which ones have a minor third. So A minor 7, you're going to play the root and the minor third. For D7, you're going to play the root and the major third. For G major 7, root, major third. And for C major 7, root, major third. And you simply continue this pattern the whole way through the song. Again, we're not really getting into a line that you would use when you're playing in a song. You're checking out one of the possibilities that you might use and incorporating it into every chord. It simply means that when you arrive at a certain place in the chord progression, you can think, I'll play root then third, and then go off to another idea, and you don't have to actually consider what it is you're doing. We can use the exact same system using fifths. For the first 4 chords again, A minor 7, I would play the root and then perfect fifth, because I know a minor 7 chord has a perfect fifth. For D7, same idea, root, fifth. For G major 7, root, fifth. And for C major 7, root, fifth. So again, we take this idea, we move it all the way through the chord progression. Pay particular attention when you're doing the fifths. The only chord that won't have a perfect fifth is going to be your half diminished. So you get the root and the flat 5 going to root, perfect fifth, and so on. As you look through the chord progression, if a chord only lasts for 2 beats, there's a section in the tune where it goes from E minor to E flat 7, then D minor 7 to D flat 7. On those, just play the root note. You can play it in a couple of different places in the neck. That kind of thing will be dictated by where your hand position is on the chord before. If you have a chord like the E minor at the end of the first 8 bars, which lasts for 2 bars, then you can just play the root and the third and then repeat it. Or the root and the fifth and then repeat it. The next step with this is to start mixing it up. So I might want to play root, third, root, fifth, root, third, root, fifth, or I could start with the fifth and then the third. Root, fifth, root, third, root, fifth, root, third. Now in this exercise, I'm not thinking too much about linking up the chords so much as using fifths all the time or thirds all the time, and always starting on a root note and going to the third or the fifth above. Next week we'll move on with this tune, looking at using thirds and fifths below to create really nice tone or semitone movement from one chord into the next. It really is the key to starting to see smooth connections between the chords in our walking bass line. If you'd like to get PDFs or just check a website for the lessons, go to davemarks.com, register and check out the YouTube videos page. It'll have all the information there, along with a whole bunch of other lessons on different topics. Have a good time practicing, and if you've got any problems, feel free to post a comment on the YouTube site or email me directly through the website. See you next week.